How liable should a company be if they turn a blind eye to an employee or a partner's lewd conduct? This weekend, one of Hollywood's heaviest hitters, a mainstay during TIFF at Roy Thompson Hall and other venues across the city, Harvey Weinstein was ousted from the company he co-founded following a slew of sexual harassment allegations from colleagues and some women who are bona fide movie stars.
This was Harvey Weinstein. He had a lot of access to young actresses. He had a lot of access to everyone in the media community and has a lot of power. And so if he said someone wasn't a good actress or wasn't someone who should make it forward, he could do that and hurt somebody's career.
Harvey Weinstein was canned by the Weinstein Company following a New York Times investigation, which detailed numerous allegations of sexual harassment, though many are now turning their attention to the film studio, which bears Harvey's last name. Social media has been sounding off. Laurie Stark tweeted, "Remember, the Weinstein Company didn't fire Harvey because they found out he was a sexual predator. They fired him because we found out." Farah Khan, who has worked as an advocate against sexual violence for more than 20 years, believes the Weinstein Company should be held accountable.
I don't think they turned a blind eye. They seem to have known about it. It was a conversation that many people knew was happening for over 2 decades, it seems. So here's an issue, is that people probably knew in the company and were covering things up. And so we have to hold them accountable to the fact that they were complicit in his sexual harassment and abuse.
If that is in fact the case, multiple employment lawyers we spoke with today say the alleged victims may have a strong case against the studio.
If an employer doesn't maintain a harassment-free work environment, they have arguably fundamentally violated the terms of that employment relationship. There's absolutely a problem, I'd argue both here and in the U.S., where organizations want to protect their star public figures.
In a statement, Weinstein says, "I came of age in the 60s and 70s, when all the rules about behavior in workplaces were different. That was the culture then. I have since learned it's not an excuse."
Back in the US, we marked the 1-year anniversary of the Access Hollywood tape with a series of grim stories concerning the treatment of women. The Times published a massive expose detailing movie executive Harvey Weinstein's years of alleged sexual harassment, and his response was infuriating because he and his attorneys...
Sounding off on his show last week tonight, it's worth noting John Oliver is the only late-night talk show host thus far to speak out against Weinstein. All others, including Saturday Night Live, have remained silent thus far.
I think he has a lot of power and people are scared of what to say, and there's this constant piece of like, we have to wait until we know all the details. We saw this with Ghomeshi as well, right? People did come out at the beginning and say we're going to support him or he's a good guy. The thing is, somebody can be a good guy and do good things like give money to charity, support social justice causes, but still commit acts of sexual violence.
Weinstein's lawyer says the producer is getting set to sue the New York Times. He says the story by the Times is defamatory and full of false statements.